We are breaking down how to adjust the tracking on a Toro Timecutter, and I've got some tips in here I haven't seen other people talking about. So there's a very easy way to adjust your tracking, and there's a couple minute things you can do to make sure it's absolutely perfect. So let's dive in at the biggest thing. How do you adjust your tracking if it seems to be way off, if you're veering to the right or to the left? Let's get behind one of these Toro Timecutters and let's check it out. We're behind a Toro Timecutter 54-inch, whether you got a 42-inch, a 60-inch, a 50-inch, they're all the same in these Timecutters. And if you look back at the transmission, each of these has a nut that you can adjust. And so we're looking at this nut right here. And if I turn this to the right, then it will actually slow this wheel motor down. And so if this left side was moving too fast, I would spin it to the right, and I can kind of show you how that works. So I've got a 1/2-inch wrench on here, and I can grab this and turn it, and it all just depends on how out of spec you are. But you can go ahead and make those adjustments, and if you're, obviously you might want to have this running and just do a quick adjustment, hop on and off until you get it tracking absolutely perfectly straight. If we look on the right side, it works the exact same way. If you loosen it, it will actually speed the transmission up. If you turn it to the right, it will actually slow it down. Toro actually says, coming from the factory, you want to slow down your fastest wheel motor. So that's something, so you're not pushing them too far forward. It's what Toro recommends. So I'd suggest trying to slow them both down unless one is just way far back. It's been a lot of time. So that's number one, how you adjust these forward and backwards. There's a couple other minor adjustments you can make. If you look at where this is at on both sides, all you've got to do is loosen this nut, and it will actually pull the arm, you can adjust your arm bar forward or backwards. And that's also, for a guy like me who's a tall guy, sometimes you want to move these back so it doesn't hit your knees. So that's another adjustment point you can make. And then lastly, I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and move over to another machine I know we haven't adjusted yet. Are you enjoying the video? Please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, especially if you're finding value right now. So we're in front of a 42-inch Timecutter, and on this one, if you press both the arms forward, it's really subtle, and they can be more major than this, but you can see these arms are not in a perfectly straight line. There's actually a rubber stopper that's really hard to see that you can adjust. So if you look on the side here, there is a nut on the inside of this piece. That nut is going to a half-moon shaped rubber piece, and it has a curvature on one side. So we're looking at it from the outside here. You can kind of look through this little crevice, and there's that half-moon piece back there that I was talking about. And if you loosen this nut, you can move this to more of a center point. If you look at this one right now, that little knob is right towards the top of where it's allowing. And if you look on the other side, on the left side here, this one is right in the center. So you can see those stoppers are not set into the exact same spot. If I have these little pieces the same on both sides, then it's gonna be exactly perfectly straight, and that's just where you're resting your hand. So between those three things, you should be able to get your tracking straight. If you have a wheel motor, let's say it's the left wheel motor and it's faster forward and it's faster in reverse, then you might be dealing with something that's actually a weak pump on one side. It could be as simple as just the tire pressure. So it's really important that you check your tire pressure and make sure that's the same on both sides, probably before you even start this process. So between all those things, you really should be all set to get your Toro tracking straight. And here at Howe Equipment, remember, tool or toy, we have it.